Cars rolling off for their parade and pace laps as we're back to Bristol for the Zinser 200 round number 17 of the 2025 ARCA Menards Series season. Earlier on this afternoon, General Tire Pole Award qualifying took place, and surprise, surprise, familiar team on the pole.
Yeah, Brent Cruz, his third pole of the year. He's fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. We know that car is going to be fast tonight.
One with a couple of teams so far this season, this JGR crew that he will be piloting, and the Nitro Motorsports team as well earlier on in 2025. Let's take a look at our Zinser starting grid. And speaking of that front row, we mentioned the pole sitter, the General Tire Award pole sitter, Brent Cruz, and that JGR number 18 alongside is going to be the championship points leader, looking for win number 7, Brendan Butterbean Queen in second.
Row 2, you have Laney Busey in the number 2 car, and Tyler Reif starting in row 2.
Back in row number 3, our runner-up so far this year, LeVar Scott, and points started at the back last year, drove it all the way to third, and Tristan McKee, our winner from Watkins Glen, as a 15-year-old earlier this year.
Moving back now to row number 4, and we've got some storylines here with Jake Finch back in action and Avenerini number 15 starting alongside a teammate, Leland Honeyman, who has an interesting story about how he got this week underway. For some pre-race hits, let's head down trackside to Caitlin Vinci.
Well, Eric, problems already arising for Isabella Robusto, and the 55 team had a starter issue before qualifying, had to change that starter, so they will drop to the rear of the field. But prior to today, very consistent summer month of races for Isabella. 5 top 5 performances in the last 7, and I asked her what has aided to that consistency, and she said, I think a lot of it is just my preparation and being able to take simulation and applying it to real life. Now, she's never been to Bristol, and she's going to have some work to do if she wants to get to the front today. Alex Weaver?
Yeah, Caitlin, a story that I'm keeping my eye on tonight is the short track debut of Cletus McFarland. He's built a massive following. Obviously, we all know his YouTube and social media following with those wild car builds, the burnout contest, but he's trading in those cameras tonight for the high banks of Bristol. His 4th start in the ARCA Menards Series. Now, he's friends of the track here, but he's hoping that he can find some confidence coming off of that best finish at Charlotte in his previous race.
Green flag is up, and we're underway from Bristol, and a great launch on the top lane for Brent Cruz to get to the lead. Tyler Reif squeezes to the bottom of Butterbean for second.
He said, I want to get down there in that PJ1, and he did it.
No, that was an important move because...
Oh, look how sideways the 2 is.
It was a great save. This racetrack is going to be a lot different than what they practiced on. This track evolution, this place, as you see these drivers get under grips of this track conditions.
That's Laney Bice, who's now kicked to the high side. Her teammate, LeVar Scott, in the 6 down low, may have cut Laney a break coming off turn 4. She wrestled with that car, and she's now way up out of the sticky stuff, and not even the 2nd lane, but 3rd lane.
And the sticky stuff we're talking about is the bottom 4 feet of the racetrack. You see that black little strip right there. Let's take a look at Laney Bice now in this 2 car. You see she's just outside of the sticky stuff. And Austin, you have a lot of experience racing on this PJ1. What's that like?
Well, I think the biggest difference is right here is we're in traffic, and she had a car right on her outside, and it's really easy to lose some of that side force, lose some of that grip. But all that grip is right down on that black groove, right above the yellow line on the bottom of the racetrack. And that's where you really need to be able to paint. As you see all those cars a lot lower, she's not able to keep her car that low because obviously fighting a loose condition.
He's able to get in behind Thomas Annunziata. Behind Laney, there's Timmy Hill, fresh off a great run in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Darlington. Inside the ARCA Menards East points leader, Isaac Kitzmiller, trying to wrap up that divisional title today if he could seal off a strong run.
Yeah, you talked about that great run that Timmy Hill had in Darlington in the trucks. He was solid that entire race. Drove up towards the front, into the 1st stage, into the 2nd stage, and then top 10 at the end of the race.
Hill's not done. He'll take the spot away from Laney Bice to move up to 9th as we're already starting to solemn our way through some of the cars at the tail end of the pack. And Austin, this is where things could get edgy.
This is really challenging right now. As you saw, the drivers really struggle for grip there early, and then having to move up into those higher lanes right now. That track just isn't rubbered in. As you see another big slide from Laney Bice. We got a car on the inside, and being able to work around. You have to understand where the grip level is at the racetrack when you're working around that lap traffic, because you see again more cars are catching fast.
But that's going to help build that rubber up on the outside part of the racetrack going around these lap cars, so that should get better. That 2nd lane should get better as this race wears on.
Well, as you saw too, you thought that the pass was already complete on the 2 car, and she was able to have position on those lap cars almost as a pick. You have to listen to your spotter, almost set up 2-3 laps ahead sometimes when you're catching lap traffic.
Right now, this battle working their way around Austin Vaughn in the 67. Patrick Staropoli able to utilize one of those lap cars as a pick, as you illustrated, Austin, as the battle for the lead starts to tighten up. Here is Tyler Reif, who is second to the aforementioned East Championship point standings battle, trying to outduel Isaac Kitzmiller there, but he wants his second career ARCA Menards win, and he's keeping pace with Cruz.
Yeah, Tyler just turned 18 earlier this year, was able to run a couple of our intermediate racetracks, but he actually ran this race last year, had a great 6th place finish, so he does have experience on this racetrack.
Cruz able to utilize a lap car to build up a bit of a buffer to the tune of just over a half second as they got around Jackson McLaren's number 95, with Cruz being the early pace setter in this race.
As you mentioned, Austin, you sometimes 2-3 laps ahead. You want your spotter to alert you what's going on there. How critical are the role of the spotter here at this racetrack? It's got to be similar to a super speedway, I would think.
No, it's a very fast racetrack for drivers, spotters, and teams. Even as a TV person, this race is flying by as the laps click off. It's amazing what all can happen in such a short amount of time. We talk about 15, 16-second lap times. A lot can happen, and the best thing you can have if you're Brent Cruz is to have a lap car in between himself and Tyler Reif. You know, that's going to give him some flexibility to maybe get stopped up. Maybe, as you saw there off of turn 2, you know, he's going to have the flexibility to pick the lanes that he wants to be without being under threat from a faster car.
General Tire on board with Tyler Reif, the runner-up right now, watching the leader. A couple of cars ahead of him. That's Cruz, the second car outside, almost going way wide, as Reif tries to get inside of Andrew Patterson, who had a lot of pace in practice, but was involved in a crash in qualifying. Had to drop to the rear of the field.
That's the worst scenario right there. When you're trying to pass a lap car and you come up on another lap car that's slowing, that allows Butterbean actually contact. That's a situation where the lap car didn't really not know situational awareness and where those faster cars were.
No, this is chaotic. I mean, Tyler kind of got checked up because he went underneath a slower lap car and they caught an even slower one and gave Butterbean a chance to really close that gap.
And just like that, Cruz opens up a 2-second lead over this 3-car battle with McKee in the back of Reif in the battle for 2nd and 3 and 4.
He drive all the way on the apron. Wow, what a move. That was critical for him to get past that, because otherwise he was really going to have to defend from behind. So now he's a little bit of room to breathe. It's probably going to be only 1 or 2 more laps so they take the next group. Watch this replay here of all that happened, and these guys are all trying to avoid this purple car.
Yeah, the 10 of Tony Cosentino got loose there. That's why he drove down to the bottom of the racetrack. He was trying to save that car.
And here's the pedal moment for Reif. This was the first of 2 blemishes he had with some lap traffic in a matter of about 2 laps time.
As a couple Pinnacle Racing Group cars right behind him. Tristan McKee really doing a nice job early on here in that 82 car as Reif gets loose. Opens up the bottom.
And look at McKee, the young gun, not shy at all about shooting the bottom 3 wide. He keeps the fender inside of Takuma Koga to cement 2nd spot.
That's a great illustration of how you catch those lap cars and where you catch them.
So the Watkins Glen winner, Tristan McKee, with the car that was chasing him to the checkered flag in that race. Tyler Reif now back to 3rd. Points leader Butterbean lurking in 4th.
See them lapping around the 31 of Bobby Dale Earnhardt. First ARCA start in a number of years for Bobby Dale in that 31 car.
Driving for the Rise Motorsports team that scored a top 10 last time out at DeCoin. Bobby Dale, the eldest son of Kerry Earnhardt. As things start to settle out here amongst the battle in the top 5, Cruz is gone. Reif and Butterbean here, 23 and 28 respectively, in what will be a fight for the 3rd position.
We saw Butterbean go down around the outside in 1 and 2. Lost a little bit of ground to Tyler Reif. Thought better of it when he got down to 3 and 4, stayed right on the bottom. But when you have the lap cars lined up on the bottom, there's really no choice but to go around them.
And not to jinx it, gentlemen, but we are currently in the longest green flag stretch to start an ARCA race at Bristol in the last 6 years.
We've tried so far, but we're keeping it clean.
Last year we had 13 separate cautions in a 200-lap race. Actually went overtime, a little bit over 200-lap race.
And we heard from Caitlin, the trials and tribulations for Isabella Robusto, having to start at the rear. Unfortunately, she's in danger of going a lap down right here to Cruz. She's doing all she can to try to stay on the lead lap, currently running back in 15th spot.
Now, with how short this track is, this is a really difficult racetrack to start behind, because you're already a quarter mile behind, which is a half a lap. So starting off on the back foot is just not going to be great, and puts you in the clutches as a leader really early as you look for crews really looking for the clean air around this car.
And you have to remember that the flagman works to the advantage of the leader. I mean, the flagman is giving these cars in front of Brent Cruz the move over flag. No such luck for Isabella. She's not going to get that move over flag for the car she's trying to pass.
Well, Robusto and Carson Ware try to stay on the lead lap. Clean and green since the start. 30 laps in what's been a physical contest. Back for more in the Zinser 200 right after this. Back at Bristol Motor Speedway for the Zinser 200 with the ARCA Menards Series, working our first caution. The longest green flag stretch at Bristol ends 35 laps into this race, involving the driver who is fourth in ARCA Menards East standings, Takuma Koga, after he found trouble on the front straightaway with another car in clear shot.
Watch him come off turn 4 here. Koga is going to move up the racetrack. Thinks he's clear. Andrew Patterson, the 40, was there. Unfortunately for Takuma Koga, as you mentioned, had a great season this year in the East Series, and going to be probably a premature end of the night. There's another view of it. Pretty fortunate that we didn't have any more cars involved.
We honestly see this happen pretty often at this racetrack, because you spend so much time as a driver looking down at the bottom of the racetrack trying to paint the bottom, and then all of a sudden, bang, there's a car and you're outside, and it's already happened too late, and you can't really adjust for it. So definitely unfortunate for Takuma there.
That was the first look we've had at Cletus McFarlane. He's on board. He did a nice job avoiding this incident.
Cletus currently scored 18th. Koga was 25th at the time of the accident. And just before the wreck, Isabella Robusto went a lap down. Good news for Isabella. She is the recipient of the free pass, still running in 14th spot, and will get that lap back. Let's go down to Caitlin.
Guys, we have a different driver there in that 20 this weekend, Leland Honeyman. I had a chance to talk with him earlier. He said he found out on Tuesday he was getting this opportunity. He said it's been a bit of a drinking out of a fire hose situation, getting to the shop, getting fitted in his seat, doing all the necessary paperwork, and of course trying to get to know Kevin Reed Jr. But he said being with a bigger team, this is a huge opportunity for him to really showcase his talents, and so far a good showing out of that driver. Alex?
Yeah, Caitlin, I'm listening to Brendan Queen, Butterbean, on the radio, and he's a bit frustrated. They're trying to work him through this lap traffic that he's coming up on. He says that he's super tight when he gets behind these other cars, and he can't quite get up to the 23. They're suggesting him to be patiently aggressive, was what they told him on the radio, and saying that he has a lot on the line. He is running the Xfinity Series race tomorrow and making his Xfinity Series debut with Colleague Racing. So they're telling him, not only are you trying to win this race tonight, you're also trying to see what this racetrack is going to do and better your chances to have a solid start tomorrow. But drivers in the booth, patiently aggressive at Bristol, does that work?
I think it has to. You definitely have to be looking ahead, especially as one of those lead cars. Talk about Queen dealing with lap traffic and understanding that and trying to project what's going to be coming at him, but also dealing with the challenges of what his car is doing. And I think makes a great point as well, the information from the team as far as him learning the racetrack and seeing how things evolve, because this racetrack throughout the weekend is under constant change.
What could be a huge advantage for Butterbean is the fact that he will restart inside second row on this restart. So again, we have not worked the upper groove in yet, so the bottom is definitely the dominant part of the racetrack, so Butterbean should be in a great position to start right behind the car on the inside. I would assume that Brent Cruz would take the inside. Remember last year they did not apply the PJ1, and I was looking back at last year's race, and the restarts were pretty even whether the inside or the outside had an advantage, but I think without a doubt right now at least the inside is going to have a huge advantage on these restarts.
We mentioned this is a last combination event for the ARCA Menards East Series in 2025 with the National Tour. Let's take a look at our Bounty Rookie Spotlight driver. Comes into the night here with a top 5 effort in ARCA Menards East Series points, Austin Vaughn in the number 67. He had a great run at Flat Rock, finishing 5th there, and he currently leads the ARCA Menards East Bounty Rookie of the Year standings coming into the finale.
We talk about Flat Rock, and again, I grew up about 30 minutes from Flat Rock and probably have been there well over 100 times in my life. And that's about what it is. It's a quarter-mile round racetrack, and great run for Austin there at Flat Rock with a top 5.
So some of the physical nature that it takes to be good there could transfer over here at Bristol, as we've seen many cars capture battle scars already.
So we see Brent Cruz here chose the outside, and talking about the inside lane being the preferred groove with the traction compound. What Brent Cruz here is looking for, he's counting on the launch. You do get a better launch off the top, but he's got to get down real quick. Same with all the cars that are on the outside right now.
And I'm assuming there's no, if they were teammates, maybe they would be talking about let me in, let me get going and let me in. Not sure that's going to be the case here. You have teammates lined up on the inside.
157 to go. Race break coming right about halfway as Cruz gets us back underway. And how about Leland Honeyman? Outside lane in the 20. Just heard about him getting the last-ditch opportunity to get this race in, and he's up to second.
That was critical for Leland to get clear, be able to get back down to a preferred groove after starting on the outside, because slowly it's going to be really, really tough to get down for the next couple laps.
And Cruz got such a great jump on the outside. Leland Honeyman was lined up right behind him. He got equally as good a jump.
That kicked the Pinnacle Racing Group's teammates back to third and fourth. We checking on a battle for 7. Thomas Annunziata, winner at Lime Rock, outside in the 70. And LeVar Scott, runner-up in championship standings, inside, trying to stay off the driver's door of Annunziata off 2.
You can see that grip on the outside is just not quite there, as Timmy Hill's going to try to follow LeVar Scott through there in the red 56.
Annunziata is going to be really, really desperate. You see him keeping those cars really, really tight to his inside.
Riding along with Cletus McFarland.
Bit of a pedal off the back straightaway as they start to slalom their way through a couple of cars here. This lead pack catching some cars that are either already a lap down or tail end of the lead lap, having to gingerly work their way by as a bit of smoke trails from the 03 of Josh White.
Remember, Alex told us at the top of the show that Cletus is drinking through a fire hose here on this racetrack. This racetrack, nothing like the other 3 ARCA races he ran earlier this year.
I don't think there's anywhere like Bristol.
Exactly. And you talked about Flat Rock. It's nothing like Bristol, believe me.
You see Cletus continuing to try to reel in Tim Richmond. Both cars a lap down, but that would be a fight for position. Cletus running in 19th, Richmond up the road 18th spot.
Yeah, Carson Ware White in front of this battle here. Looks like Cletus has a better car right now than the 27.
Certainly exercising a lot of patience to get around the traffic here as they come up on the back of Con Nicolopoulos, who is a few laps down already. So at the front of the pack, a half second separates Cruz and Honeyman the top 2. McKee running in 3rd, points leader Queen 4th. Jake Finch rounds out the top 5, and after Tyler Reif got himself in a position to battle for a podium spot early, he's faded to 6th.
Yeah, we haven't talked a whole lot about Jake Finch. Jake hasn't run that many races with us this year, but he was our winner last year at Talladega and led every single lap, Austin, at Talladega last year.
I'm not sure how many people have been able to do it. We got stats guys here, but that's a hell of a stat.
For a while, let's go to Caitlin.
The guys were just talking about Jake Finch. Talked to him earlier. He was very much anticipating this race, saying he loves the short track racing. It's what he grew up doing in the Panhandle of Florida, so he said this style really suits him and comes naturally to him as well. He also said having Billy Venturini as a crew chief is a big advantage, as well as Tyler Mon, the spotter we see, of course, on the Cup Series side for Kyle Larson. He is on board with him as well, giving him very diligent prompts and good feedback on how to get around this place. But like you guys said, good showing so far for Jake Finch.
Jake, who made his NASCAR Xfinity debut at Dover earlier this season with a top 20 effort there. Of course, the son of longtime NASCAR team owner and Phoenix construction operative James Finch, doing another solid job here at an ARCA start. Talladega winner from a year ago.
Yeah, James Finch, Jake's dad, actually won an Xfinity race here with Jimmy Spencer driving a number of years ago.
Right now, Jake is holding down the final spot in the top 5. As things start to settle out here amongst these top 5 competitors, keeping Tyler Reif at bay, who would be the next car behind to potentially challenge for this 5th position.
We talk about this huge field of cars. We started 34 cars, just a couple cars right now off the racetrack. And we talked about Isabella getting that free pass. Well, she had to start behind all those cars on the racetrack, even the lap cars, and now she finds herself just about a second in front of our leader.
On board with Tyler Reif as he tries to reel in Finch with more traffic ahead. Again, in what would be a fight for P5. Continuing to log laps and continuing to lead laps, Brent Cruz, who has led them all from the General Tire pole. About 40 to go from halfway. More to come from Bristol. ARCA Menards Series Racing from Bristol on FS1 is brought to you by General Tire, #GT Delivers. And by Reese's. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry. Well, the Zinser 200 has been blistering by as we just about had a moment there for Tyler Reif and company. One caution so far in the 72 laps that have been run, and Brent Cruz thus far has led all the way.
Bobby Dale Earnhardt, the 31, trying to get out of the way, got a little bit loose. That red car behind our leader, Brent Cruz.
Cruz now working up to the back of Andrew Patterson, who, as we stated earlier, was very impressive in the practice session, was in the top 10 for most of that session, but had a problem in qualifying, had to make some repairs to the right front fender, and he is now falling another lap off the lead. But that team, which is an operation that he runs himself, continues to soldier on, and he's running 15th.
And we saw right before we went away to break that Leland Honeyman actually had caught Brent Cruz in traffic, then went to the high side. And now he finds himself 2 seconds off the pace. You can lose. It's hard to believe that you can lose as much time getting hung up behind a lap car at a small racetrack like this.
Let's go to Alex.
Yeah, guys, we're watching Brent Cruz just check out here in that leading position. He's been extremely happy with his race car ever since he put down the fastest lap in qualifying. It's silence on the radio from the driver, but his spotter is saying they're counting down laps. There's a spotter or a caution on the track.
And it's for trouble off of turn number 2. It is Bobby Dale Earnhardt who has gone around in the Rise Motorsports number 31. At the time, he was running 31st, a respectable effort. Check that, 21st at the time he was running when he had his issues off of turn number 2. And this will draw the second yellow of the race.
According to our scoring monitor, Patrick Staropoli will be the recipient of the free pass. Free pass goes to the car. Highest car scored not on the lead lap, and that looks to be Patrick Staropoli.
Bobby's making his 4th ARCA start, first since 2017. Talked to him earlier in the week, and he said he hopes this could be the first step for more opportunity going into 2026. Second yellow is out for a solo spin by Bobby Dale Earnhardt. We're back from Bristol right after this. Back here at Bristol Motor Speedway, working our second caution of the race after Bobby Dale Earnhardt had a spin off turn number 2. A little bit less than 20 laps or so from what should be our scheduled race break. Again, it could come on or around lap 100. But we're going to check out today's Suchi Fast Track driver, and it's the driver who leads currently the ARCA Menards East Series standings, trying to wrap up that title.
Yeah, as you can see, 13th or better, no matter what Tyler Reif does, he will lock up that championship. And what consistent races. 7 races that he's had so far this year. Some of those races in combination with the National Series. His worst finish all year long has been 7th, anywhere from 4th to 7th for those 7 races. Isaac doing a really nice job. And we always joke when he's racing these National Series races against his dad, he's beat him every single time.
He's got him by 1 spot right now, and more importantly, he's within that top 13 boundary as you see the points coming into this race. And a reminder that Isaac, as well as Tyler Reif, they're not done racing this weekend. They're both going to go run a pro late model at South Boston on Saturday against each other, as that friendly rivalry will continue, I'm sure, for years to come.
Yeah, I love it. Just many laps as you can run at that age, for sure.
So Isaac rounding out the top 10 as things run. Brent Cruz, the leader and dominator. And again, we could expect, with the restart upcoming, we talked about our race analysis, that on or around element as to when that break could happen. It's not guaranteed to be at lap 100, so that's something these drivers have to keep in mind to see how short this sprint could be to that point.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty short stint here when we finally get the restart going. But again, so critical to get that start. You see Brent Cruz is going to grab the outside again. He's going to have a different car on the inside, Leland Honeyman. We saw what an amazing jump that Brent Cruz got on that last restart, but such a huge advantage knowing that you cannot beat the guy that is the control car to that restart line. No restart zone here in ARCA, the restart line. You can't beat him, so a huge advantage for the guy that is the control car.
And typically the outside line does have a great advantage all the way up until the start-finish line. So all these guys, just like last time, are going to be looking for that jump and an opportunity to get down pretty much right when we get to turn 3.
So we're going to come to the restart with 115 laps to go in the race. So give or take 15 or so laps until the teams will have their one and only chance to work on their race cars. Brent Cruz in the 18 on the top side, the leader. Leland Honeyman in the 20 on the bottom. And the second verse, same as the first. A great launch by that outside lane. This time, Butterbean propels himself to second, but maybe not for long. Honeyman's fighting back.
They'll be side by side. Is Butterbean clear? He is clear, but he does not move down the racetrack. Look at the grip on that inside for Honeyman.
Double wide for about 2 rows deep. Honeyman on the bottom in the 20. The points leader, Butterbean Queen, on the outside of Honeyman. In that 28 car, as Honeyman surges forward. Queen trying to get to the bottom. His teammate doesn't let it happen.
Yeah, when you see a car stuck on the outside like that after the first couple laps of a restart, it's blood in the water. It doesn't matter if your teammates or not. It's probably your best way for the first 10 laps of this run to gain a spot. As you see Tristan Garbutt, another spot on the inside. He's been really good at hooking that yellow line on the bottom. It's got to dodge a lap car.
I was wondering why he was going in the middle of the racetrack. Now I figured it out.
Great job by both those drivers as that side-by-side fight continues, but Honeyman's drifted a little bit too wide.
You watch Honeyman now. He's going to drive right back down to the bottom of the racetrack into the tire tracks of Tristan McKee.
I've really liked how Tristan's looked tonight. He's been able to wrap lower than most guys whenever we've had him on camera. He's been able to really keep his car low, be able to drive straight up off the corner and make passes like he did there on Leland Honeyman. And I think right now, as things run, he's probably got the best chance, I think, to put it to Brent Cruz tonight.
He was actually a little bit quicker that last lap than was Brent Cruz, and these guys are still lapping this racetrack within about a half a second of what our fastest qualifying time was. So a lot of grip in the racetrack there.
I hope they enjoyed those 3 laps they had in clean air, because for the rest of this run until this break, it's going to be all about lap traffic once again.
Oh, that has been the story, and that's going to give us one of our Reese's Sweet Move of the Race nominees. This incredible move by McKee and Honeyman to get around the 03 of Josh White. Yo.
Fortunately, Leland Honeyman realized that he needed a little bit more room, and that could have caused a huge issue.
No, I think that was good heads-up driving by both those drivers, and definitely caught us off guard and calling the race.
Don't forget, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern, ARCARacing.com to see who is crowned with the Reese's Sweet Move from Bristol. So since that scare with the traffic, McKee's been able to build up a bit of an advantage over Honeyman, who runs in 3rd spot. Queen and Nunziata round out your top 5, but Brent Cruz has set sail. 3 seconds the advantage. We got a car off the pace, and for the second time, it's Bobby Dale Earnhardt, and he has caught the wall.
Looks like a right front tire flat, perhaps.
Might have had a little bit of a tire rub after that early incident with the inside wall. You'd mentioned earlier that this car is coming off its best finish of the year at Du Quoin. Chase Howard drove it to a 7th place finish.
And for Bobby Dale and his return to ARCA competition for the first time in 2017, up until the moment off of turn 2 to draw our 2nd yellow, now involved in caution number 3. Let's take a look at how it went down. And it did go down.
Yeah, you see that car go straight. That means the right front tire is down. He did his best to try to get it slowed down prior to getting into the outside safer barrier, but you can see all the damage to that right front corner of that race car.
And with this caution coming on lap number 96, word from ARCA officials, this yellow will serve as our official race break. So we will see all the teams have an opportunity to tend to their race cars, and we'll see the Rise Motorsports organization have to do so as well to theirs. Thus far, Brent Cruz has led all the way. We'll see if the teams can make adjustments to keep pace with the JGR 18. Back at the Zinser 200 at the Bristol Motor Speedway, round 17 of the 2025 ARCA Menards Series season. Working our 3rd caution of the race that is also serving as our mid-race break with 98 laps complete and 102 laps still to go. As the teams get set to work on their cars, we'll toss it down to Caitlin.
Yeah, Eric, taking a look at the 70 of Thomas Annunziata, saying to the team, tight center exit, just checked in with the group. They said that car is not bad. It's one Shannon Rush adjustment from being great, is what they said for that one. Now, what about the 20 of Leland Honeyman? Very impressive showing for him so far. He says it feels decent on the bottom. It's starting to come to me. I can hug the center pretty good in 1 and 2. Exit is also good. Kevin Reed Jr., the crew chief there, also coaching him a lot on how to execute on those restarts. This is their first race together, but Leland is planning to run all the rest of the races but Toledo. Alex?
Caitlin, I'm watching the 82 of Tristan McKee down there, and the team get to work during this pit stop. His crew chief, Shane Huffman, is asking him throughout those last couple of 10 to 15 laps to define a brake issue. He said he adjusted the front brake, which helped. He is tight in 1 and 2, so he had to work up on the throttle. They're asking for a little bit of adjustment, but now to our leader of the 18 of Brent Cruz in that Toyota machine. They were asking him voltage information, his water pressure, his tire pressure, all the numbers inside of the car, but he did say he was a little confused, that his balance was depending on his entry, that sometimes he was free, sometimes he was tight, and so they asked him, do you want an adjustment or no adjustment? He said, yeah, let's take a little adjustment, and then they asked him to grade his car tonight. He gave it a C or a D, guys. I would hate to see him in an A or a B car. He might be more seconds ahead of the field.
That's some harsh criticism from the driver who's led every lap from the pole. Wow. Coming back for the restart here at Bristol Motor Speedway as the work continues on the pit lane. Tonight, the second part of our Bristol doubleheader goes green with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series playoffs battling here at Bristol. Racing kicking off at 8 p.m. Eastern on FS1, a jam-packed weekend at the world's fastest half mile. Back with the ARCA Menards Series competition at the Zinser 200 as we have just wrapped up our race break. Phil, let's try to talk to the driver who's led all the way.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, Brent Cruz, Phil Parsons and the boys up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, Phil, I got you.
Buddy, great job so far the first half of this race. Matt Ross has you tuned up, but it looks like it's pretty challenging out there maneuvering around these lap cars.
Yeah, he does. We have a one Toyota Camry here, and excited to be able to show all the speed that it has, being able to pull today. And we've had really good restarts in a fast car, but yeah, lap traffic's tough.
Hey, Brent, it's Austin Cindric. We're watching all these lap cars, and do you have a favorite lane to go to? It's even hard to see where the racetrack is at this point with the progression and how much moving you guys got to do.
Yeah, Austin, I think my preferred is running the top if they just keep their lane on the bottom, but not too sure. What do you think?
I think your guess is as good as mine. Good luck with that.
Thank you, guys.
Brent Cruz obviously going to restart this race back on the point as he has not relinquished that spot. Austin, I love trying to gather some intel for Saturday there. That's good stuff in real time.
No, it's critical to really have a feeling of where it's at. And I feel for these guys because I think I'd have a tough time giving feedback on my race car too. You talk about a C or a D with leading the race, rating your car. I mean, it's hard to know where you're even at when you're not even running the preferred line or you're having to adjust for cars in front.
We're going to see the cross flags next time by. Let's take a look at the Richmond mid-race report. As we started this race, we thought we would see a plague of yellow to start it. Only 3 cautions, including the race break, and just 1 leader.
Still have 14 cars on the lead lap. Isabella Robusto has been able to parlay that free pass to stay on the lead lap. So got a great second half of this race lined up. We're going to have Tristan McKee on the front row with Brent Cruz for this restart.
And along with eclipsing the longest amount of laps we've gone green to start an ARCA race at Bristol the last 6 years, Brent Cruz has also led the most consecutive laps from the start of an ARCA race at this track, hoping to lead wire to wire tonight.
You know that 18 car has won the last 3 ARCA races here. Sammy Smith won 3 years ago, and then William Sawalich won the last 2 years here. And I was talking to Matt Ross today, and he said that 18 car is the exact same car that William Sawalich won with this last year for this race.
And Cruz is going to try to see if he can make it 4 for 4 for the JGR team. But he's got a young and talented Tristan McKee to his inside. And we heard the pit report earlier from Alex. Potential brake issues with that 82 car. Flashback to Madison, his first ARCA oval start. A brake issue while running second caused him to spin. They battled back 4 laps down to finish 11th. We'll see if they can apply some of the adjustments and lessons learned here to give McKee a shot at win number 2. Pace truck's going to head down to the pit lane. We're about to kick off the second half of the Zinser 200 with the ARCA Menards Series at Bristol. Brent Cruz on the top lane brings us back to green.
Saw Tristan McKee really lay back there a little bit. Brent Cruz almost had a car length when he got to the restart line.
It really able to get advantage for Butterbean Queen to be able to get around outside, get in second place, and be able to go hunt down this leader for the first time.
Top 4 single file. Jake Finch moves down to the 15 car to take 5th spot. Tyler Reif on the top side in the 23. Timmy Hill trying to follow him through. That's Thomas Annunziata in the 70, trying to protect his position as this fight continues well inside the top 10.
Oh, Timmy got a great run up off the corner. They're able to clear the 70 of Annunziata, but he moves back up the racetrack. Let's see if he can get a little bit of grip up off the corner.
See, our leader's already catching lap traffic. It's already go time for that. And Timmy Hill seems to really like the outside of the racetrack here. You see if that's going to pay off for him, and even have the comfort with that, being able to move up for this impending traffic.
Timmy Hill, one of the more experienced drivers in this field. A lot of Cup starts, Xfinity, as well as truck starts on his resume. 504 National Series starts for Timmy Hill.
It's a lot of experience across the board and a lot of starts here at Bristol as well. And he's doing a good job right now, running in 7th with the top 5 in sight. Reif in the 23 6th. Jake Finch in the 15, holding down the 5th spot for now.
These guys know they've had one opportunity to adjust on these cars, and that was just now at that mid-race break. Let's see who made the right calls to make these adjustments.
This is a great view as you see Jake Finch kind of give up the bottom a little bit as he's anticipating this lap car. And Tyler's going to have to make a decision of whether or not he wants to follow him through or try and push the issue.
Got another lap car up the road, and they're going to be able to squeeze by to the top side, door to door in the battle for 5th. And Reif's got the edge in 3.
Yeah, there's a lot of hope there for Tyler Reif to feel like that lap car was going to know that they were side by side coming up on him. Obviously, it worked for him.
He played that really well and was able to get an advantage and kind of pull away. What we didn't see there is he had to sneak back up in front of that 48 car, so it was really tight quarters.
Now Timmy Hill starts to light up the back end of the number 15 of Finch for what would be 6th place. And Hill's starting to, I would say, voluntarily exercise that top lane, but the traffic is still a mess in front of this pack.
And just like that, all that work that Tyler did is gone, and he's under threat of losing 2 spots.
He lost 2. It may lose a 3rd spot here to the 70 of Annunziata.
Annunziata does make that pass to get Tyler Reif kicked back to 8th.
Timmy Hill is maybe sole-handedly going to work that upper groove in.
No, and sometimes as a driver, even if you don't think you're going to make speed doing it, he's kind of got some room to breathe. He wants to know what his car's going to be capable of doing and understand where the racetrack's at, what can I do, because when he does get that opportunity to pounce in traffic, he's going to know exactly how to push his car to the limit as you see him go back down to the bottom now.
But most of these drivers will hope that this racetrack will widen out as time goes on. It doesn't appear that it has. It's certainly gotten better since the initial start, but you still cannot keep pace or maybe get an advantage from the high side for sure.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the first time it's really paid off for him, closing the gap at least to Jake Finch in front of him. But it's going to take a lot of laps, a lot of green flag laps for this higher side to come in. And obviously, as we've talked about, he's kind of one of the few that's committed to it.
Things start to settle out a little bit here. Now Isaac Kitzmiller starting to close in on the car in which he has to keep in his gun sights to sew up the East Series title tonight. Kitzmiller in that 79 starting to creep into the frame as Hill continues to exercise the upper groove. To Caitlin.
Well, guys, you're talking about that East battle. Had a chance to talk with Tyler Reif about battling with Isaac Kitzmiller throughout the course of the season. He said the two of us have a lot of mutual respect for one another. We've helped elevate each other's game as the weeks have progressed. And he said usually you can race the same person week in and week out, and eventually you might wreck each other. He said, but for us that has not happened yet. There's no bad blood between the two of these guys. In fact, they have made each other better right now, running 8th and 9th. Eric.
You see, they're both trying to cut a trail further forward as now Reif has gotten to the bottom of Annunziata with Kitzmiller. Isaac Kitzmiller closing in.
I think Reif was a little unsure where that lap car was going to go. Probably wisely pulled in behind Annunziata in the 70.
So Annunziata 7th, Reif 8th, Isaac Kitzmiller 9th. LeVar Scott rounds out the top 10. As far as the front of the field, Cruz has been able to maintain a lead of about just under 1.5 seconds over Brendan Queen, who runs second.
Now, no huge surprise to see the 18 and the 28 running 1-2. 27 of the last 36 races since the beginning of last year, one of those two cars has gone to victory lane. 27 out of 36.
Cruz got checked up there just a little bit, getting around Jackson McLaren in the 95, but not enough to cost him too much in the margin as he tries to protect that race lead. Cruz already a 3-time winner on the season, looking for win number 4 of 2025 in his part-time campaign. Cruz out in front. Pinnacle Racing Group teammates sizing up a battle for second. More to come from Bristol. ARCA Menards Series Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by Bounty. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. The ARCA Menards Series competitors continuing to blitz their way around Bristol Motor Speedway as the Pinnacle Racing Group teammates are in an intense fight for second spot, with Leland Honeyman trying to join the party.
Saw them split the 0, the lap car of Con Nicolopoulos. Tristan McKee, I think, is being very respectful of his teammate. I think he definitely has a better car right now.
No, he's been hounding him for a ton of laps, and when they get back down to the bottom, it definitely seems like Tristan has an advantage down there. But I think Brendan Queen definitely has a bit more confidence around the lap traffic and navigating that, whether if that's experience or just his car is able to run better. As we see higher and higher lanes able to get used, it's just difficult to make the full lap time.
And that moment there on the front straightaway amongst these two teammates, McKee on the inside, Butterbean on the outside. Another Reese's Sweet Move of the race nominee.
Just had to pinch it a little too hard, could not keep the throttle down as he moved underneath that 0 car.
And that's the most frustrating thing when you're dealing with the lap traffic is Tristan clearly had that pass almost made and has to go back and reset, and we sat here watching under brake for 20-30 laps, him still trying to work over, and you do that for 20-30 laps, and then big slide.
Hang on, Butterbean.
That was a great save.
Wow, Phil, we talked about in the open, this is a wild card event, a glove save and a beauty for the points leader.
Tristan slowed down so much he thought he was spinning out. They're back to racing again.
There's an issue, I think, with that 28 car. You saw him really loose up off the corner as well. I can't believe that car all of a sudden just turned loose in a matter of a lap or two.
It still doesn't look right. While things start to stabilize here for Butterbean, let's go back and watch the initial slide.
Yeah, that was a big moment. You saw him just yaw out a bit on entry, and then it really never settled once he landed into that big compression moment in the corner. And I mean, that's almost full opposite lock. That was a great save.
How about the battle, though, for second, third, and fourth? There it is right there.
It'll be interesting to see how well he recovers. It doesn't
look at it again.
He's just, that right rear tire is just absolutely used up right now.
Used up or going down, one of the two.
McKee now to the inside. Honeyman's going to try to follow as we continue to work the longest green flag run we've ever had in ARCA competition at Bristol. Butterbean to third. Here comes Finch to the inside of Honeyman for fourth.
See Jake down there with his left sides in that PJ1. And a good illustration of what we're talking about with PJ1. Have you ever been to a movie theater and somebody poured Coke on the floor and how sticky it is? That's what it was explained to me. And Austin, you're a better example of how to talk about that PJ1.
Yeah, no, it's definitely just grip. We call it traction compound because it gives traction to the tires, but being able to get down there and use that grip, but it does eventually get worked up and knocked away as you see the 55 car kind of getting pushed back into the garage maybe.
For more, let's go to Caitlin.
Well, we documented the struggles for Isabella Robusto in qualifying, and then once again, problems here for that 55. First, she came down pit road and said something was dragging. I can't race it. So they said, let's see if the track bar mount is dragging. But now she says that that 55 car won't fire up. So disappointing race here for Isabella, guys.
Yeah, she had issues in practice. They had to push that car off every time she went out to practice. It actually could not get it fired for qualifying. That's why she had to start at the back of the pack.
Isabella comes into the night 4th in points. A good margin behind Lawless Allen, who's not in attendance for this race or will be for the rest of the year. The good news for Isabella, the bonus they pay out to the full-time competitors after running X amount of races may swing her way, but the attempt to try to garner some positive momentum stalls out at Bristol as Cruz is in heavy traffic as the race leader.
Yeah, there's Jason Kitzmiller right now running in the 10th spot.
And Brent's been really patient with all that battling for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. He was able to pull out a 5-second lead, so he's not trying to risk too much. I mean, think about 5 seconds. It's a 15-second lap. That's, you know, a third of the lap ahead. So he's got some room to be a little careful with his race car.
That 6th car, that is LeVar Scott, our runner-up right now in points, and has already gone a lap down along with the 25 of Patrick Staropoli. And right now, LeVar Scott would not be in the free pass position because Jason Kitzmiller right in front of him is.
And we're keeping an eye on that there because we continue to watch that 6 car nurse his vehicle while we wonder if Butterbean's car may have an issue as we check in on Cletus McFarland. And I love seeing Cletus come out and run these ARCA races. 4.5 nearly million subscribers on YouTube. His content ranges from everything from new builds, the restoration of a racetrack he now owns called the Freedom Factory. He's got a massive following. He's doing a really good job tonight.
He's doing a great job. He had trouble. He got wrecked a couple times at Daytona, but then had a top 10 finish at Talladega on 7 cylinders. He did such a nice job in the draft, and as you mentioned, his best career finish in Charlotte. I was going to say this one is nothing like any of those other 3 racetracks that he went to, but I think he's doing a superb job.
Yeah, I think he's doing great. I mean, look at him. He's out there running the high line at Bristol. There's still a little more room for him to move up, but it's an intimidating place, and he's up on the wheel and having a good time, I'm sure.
And then one thing about Cletus, he's willing to race anything. Just about 2 months ago, he organized a 90-lap Crown Vic race at Stafford. Even though Cletus didn't finish the race, Ryan Preece went to victory lane. Greg Biffle finished 2nd.
Yeah, he and Greg Biffle are big buddies. You usually see Greg when you see Cletus at these racetracks.
While Cletus continues to lap his way around this racetrack, let's learn more about how the night ended for Isabella Robusto. Caitlin is with her.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. She's out of the car now, obviously. Do you diagnose what happened there on the 55?
Yeah, we had a pretty fast Yahoo Toyota Camry there tonight. Had to start from the back, came back. I passed so many cars throughout the race, but yeah, I just unfortunately flew up there at the end. So not able to finish the race, but I feel like we had a pretty good car, definitely a top 5. So it's upsetting to not be out there right now, but we'll just focus forward next week.
Thank you. Isabella Robusto is still optimistic, even though early exit from this race, guys.
Thanks, Caitlin. This is her 2nd DNF in the last 4 races after having 0 DNFs in the previous 8 rounds, trying to hope that the final 3 are the best portion of her 2025 story, as her teammates have had a short battle, with Honeyman not only getting Finch, he's gone up and got the 4th spot from Thomas Annunziata. Look at this off turn 4.
This is just a few moments ago. Close racing around lap cars. Nice job by Honeyman and Jake Finch to avoid that lap car.
And these two are not that far off. Brendan Queen, who rides 3rd, and Timmy Hill starting to close in as well for a potential top 5.
Austin was saying during the break that he's keeping an eye on Timmy Hill because he wants to know how that high groove wins, because we've seen Timmy Hill just about exclusively try to run that high lane. Now he's moving up and up.
Oh, we got a spin.
Andy J.
And luckily for Jankowiak, he stopped the car before it rolled back up into the racing line. He was running 16th at the time of the spin, and he draws caution number 4.
It's tough to spin at Bristol and not hit anything.
It certainly is.
Maybe something dragging under the valence there too. I don't know if we get a better angle of the front of that car, but maybe that has something to do with what's going on here.
Jankowiak making his 8th start of the season. After this, the only other schedule they've got on the docket for the Kloss Motorsports organization is Kansas. And he brings out the 4th yellow, ending the longest green flag run we've had in ARCA competition at Bristol. Caution number 4 for Jankowiak. Back for more after this. We saw the struggles for the championship points leader Brendan Queen on that last run. For more, here's Alex.
Yeah, guys, his spotter and his crew chief telling him that he needs to follow the black on the racetrack. They're reminding him that 80% of tomorrow night in the Xfinity race, he's going to be up there. They're using logos around the racetrack to tell him the proper lane that he needs to run, but he's really struggling with that lateral grip, telling them that if he gets too high up into the fence and stays there too long, he's going to hit the wall.
Tell you what, he had about 3 or 4 lanes covered there with how sideways he was.
Well, when he was sideways, he was 3 lanes wide.
That's right.
Was 3 lanes
That's
wide.
right.
Well, he's going to restart on the bottom here by virtue of running in that 3rd spot behind teammate Tristan McKee, as Brent Cruz has again, just as he's done all afternoon long, elected the top side for this restart. Stephen Dawson watching along, assuring that Butterbean could walk out of here feeling comfortable about that title with 3 races to go, as Cruz continues to lead. 32 laps to go from Bristol. Back underway.
Let's see if Tristan McKee can hold on to that 2nd spot. He is able to. Honeyman's going to slot in 3rd in that 20 car.
That's the most sorted our top 3 has been after a restart. Obviously, Cruz with the advantage, another great jump. But you know, I think this is a great chance for Tristan McKee with 30 laps to go try and chase him down.
Behind Butterbean, Timmy Hill moves up into the top 5. We talked about all of his experience at Bristol. His best finish ever across all series. 7th in the Xfinity Series in 2019. Trying to better that here tonight in ARCA.
See Jake Finch trying to work to the inside of Annunziato. He's there. Has position getting down in turn 3.
Oh, that's close.
Loose.
Keep it going.
What a save.
Wow, another great save tonight.
And they're still side by side for the spot as Annunziata gets the edge going into the corner and Finch draws him back.
Jake saying, give me some room, Thomas. Give me some room.
It's a desperation being stuck on that unpreferred groove and being vulnerable to the next car up on the inside.
Kitzmiller having to pedal it as we watch this again in turn 3.
Even though he was sliding, Annunziato still didn't give him a whole lot of room there.
It's a great save, hard racing. That's what you're going to have to do with it coming down to this few laps left in the race.
Cost Annunziata that 1 spot. He's back to 7th. Here's Isaac Kitzmiller in the 79 trying to work him over with Tyler Reif not that far behind this duo.
I know Kitzmiller would love to get by Annunziata, but remember he has to be cognizant of the fact that he needs to finish this race to lock up that E-Series championship.
13th or better is the target for Isaac, but he may not be complacent to ride in 8th as they'll start to work their way up towards some of the traffic. That's been a bit of a storyline since the start of this race as Kitzmiller slots back in the tire tracks.
So up ahead, see that red and black car. That is Tim Hill, the guy that's been dedicated to the outside of the racetrack. He's parlayed that into a top 5 run here so far.
And right now, starting to see a couple more cars think about joining him up there. Tyler Reif was way up there as we got problems for Cletus. Cletus McFarlane. Right front tire is down, and it looks like he's gotten into the wall. We stay green.
You can see the damage to the right side of that car. Both the letters rubbed off both right side tires. Flat right front tire for Cletus.
Was running 16th at the time. Very respectable run for his first go of it at the world's fastest half mile. And the race will continue under green flag conditions with Cletus on the pit lane.
See what happens here. See if that right front goes down. Obviously, he knows he has an issue right here. When he gets down to the corner, it's probably going to be nowhere, a little air in that right front tire. The fact that he slowed down really minimized the contact for him with that outside wall. Yeah, he knows he has a problem right here.
And he also knows he can't get down to slow the car down to get to the pit road or anything. Yeah, it's a helpless feeling, but honestly, pretty well managed, and especially for the racetrack to still be able to stay green.
Mentioned his first go of it in Bristol, his first time in an ARCA car. He has raced here before in hobby stocks and stadium super trucks. Not surprised.
See Brent Cruz, our leader, makes his way around Cletus. Brent now has just under a 2-second lead over Tristan McKee. Inside of 20 to go here, guys.
Coming up on the back of Logan Mizuraka, making her 2nd consecutive ARCA start at Bristol. And this has kind of been the trend for Cruz, managing a bit of a gap, being patient with the traffic. He's led all the laps so far tonight. In fact, the most laps he's led in a single race, 102, when he went wire to wire at DeCoin back in 2024. He's blowing that stat out of the water and trying to go wire to wire again, this time at Bristol.
There's Matt Ross. Remember, we talked about that 18 car winning the last 3 times they were here. Well, there's the guy that was calling the shots, Matt Ross, hoping to make it 4 in a row.
And after this race, he's not done. He's going to line up in the Tricon Garage #1 for the Truck Series tonight as well.
Good qualifying effort, too, for that truck race. Top 15 for Brent Cruz.
Working his way over the back of Tim Richmond to put Richmond another lap down. With now 15 laps to go, and if this race stays green, this could go by quick.
Yeah, 15, 16 seconds a lap. These laps sure do click by. That right now, Brent Cruz is saying, please no more cautions. Let's don't give these guys another chance on a restart.
The bad news for Cruz is that there is a wad of lap traffic just up the road as he closes in on Carson Ware and Rick Ware Racing number 51. Carson yields to the leader. We check in now on the battle for the final spot in the top 5. Timmy Hill continues to be married to the top, and Jake Finch has reeled him back in with Butterbean just a bit further up the road from these two.
Yeah, Jake has done a really nice job here. Had a top 10 finish in this race last year. Doesn't get to race a whole bunch of ARCA races, but he's always competitive when he does get to run in these races.
That time we watched Timmy Hill go to the bottom in turns 1 and 2, stay to the top side in 3 and 4. Austin, is that common to alternate what lane may be best on each end of the racetrack?
I'd say if there's any end that's going to move up faster, it's going to be in turns 3 and 4, just because of how narrow the exit is and how the grip seems to be off of turn 4. But you've seen Timmy Hill move the groove up all night, and I think it's been a benefit to the guys around him. You saw him really be able to take advantage of Jake Finch early in the race, and all of a sudden I feel like the second highest guy now is Jake Finch, being able to learn off of him. And Butterbean's been having to do the same thing to be able to defend position, and I think this is going to come to an advantage if they're able to get some lap traffic to really help Timmy out here, because that's where this high line's really been working well for him and being able to take advantage of taking spots.
And it may bode well for the truck race later on, that the fact that you don't lose, it's not a death knell to go to the high side. You don't lose a whole lot of ground here. That should play into the truck guys tonight.
I think it gives you a lot to look forward to tonight for the truck race, and I think.
Oh, Hill hard on the wall off turn 4. And that's going to definitely draw the caution. A terrible shot for Hill, just like what we saw for him in the East race at Rockingham earlier this year.
He's had all indications of that right front tire going down. Is that the fact maybe Austin, since he's been so dedicated to the top of the racetrack, less rubber down there? We see the caution flags, the hot tires actually rub all that rubber off the racetrack.
Yeah, no, it's hard to say. I mean, he also had a failure pretty late in the corner too, so I'll be interested to see what it looks like. It goes in here, normal line really, where he's been running, and
it's just going to turn right.
Yeah, you almost see the hood flap come up right there at the end. Just, yeah, right front tire failure. And yeah, hard to say with how much tire wear, obviously not knowing that with is there camber worn or whatever else it might be. I don't know how close they are to the limits here, but could just be a puncture as well, running over something. I mean, we've had cars with damage come back out on the racetrack, so whatever it may be, just an unfortunate hit for Timmy Hill.
Now, what does the team of the number 18 think? Matt Ross not happy to see that yellow.
I was talking about Brent Cruz not wanting to see a yellow. That guy also didn't want to see a yellow. The good news is the fact that he was so up high, that really minimized that impact. It was significant impact anyway, but if he would have been on the bottom of the racetrack and that right front tire went down, that would have looked a whole lot worse. Good to see Timmy get out of that car. They're hoping for a second really good race in a row after that great truck race at Darlington.
This is a family-owned team, just like the truck operation, so this is certainly going to sting for Timmy Hill. Caution number 5, setting up a sprint to the finish. Come on back to Bristol.
Hey everyone, Kyle Petty here, and welcome to General Tire Delivers, ARCA's greatest moments. There's something electric about racing at Bristol. The lights, the noise, the intensity.
Oh, and a wrecking again.
This place is one of the most iconic short tracks in the country. Any win here is special. But in 2020, Sam Mayer did something that was downright extraordinary. That night, Mayer not only picked up a win in the NASCAR Truck Series, he came back later and dominated the ARCA Menards Series race. He led 116 of 200 laps, taking control early and never looking back. He was the class of the field. 2 wins, 2 different series on the same night on one of the toughest tracks in the sport. That's something you never forget. I'm Kyle Petty, and thanks for joining me as General Tire delivers ARCA's greatest moments. We'll see you next time.
Might be getting ready to produce another great moment here at Bristol. As the sun starts to set, we're getting set for overtime. Second time in this race's history that we've gone beyond the advertised distance, with Brent Cruz trying to dominate from wire to wire. McKee's going to be right on him when we get set to re-rack this field.
We're going to have a moment, all right. I'm not sure it's going to be great, but we're going to have a moment for sure. That's what we talk about when the tires get hot. They actually peel the rubber right back off the racetrack.
Before we get back underway, let's check in on our second place runner, Tristan McKee. Alex has more.
Yeah, the driver of the 82 is struggling a bit on those restarts. Obviously making his first start here at Bristol, but his crew chief, Shane, is talking him through these restarts. Shane raced Xfinity here, so he learned a lot, and he's trying to just help his driver say, think about the launch, take off a little bit more aggressively, and make sure that you roll with the car in front of you.
I think that's all really good advice. I mean, we've seen these restarts and him having a shot. I mean, look, you're going to be at a disadvantage being the guy on the bottom, but yeah, give yourself a shot, choke up on the bat, and start swinging, because this is, yeah, it's for a race win right here. And he's had a few looks at it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he responds this time.
He doesn't have to be as conservative as Butterbean does. Butterbean needs to get to the end of this race, have a good points day, and then he's probably home free, as we talked at the very top of the show.
McKee, who has made splashes in just about everything he's driven, youngest driver ever to win a Cars Tour sanctioned event, did so back in a Pro Late model in 2023, trying to get the best of a driver looking for win number 4 on the season, Brent Cruz. These two have raced against each other several times in late model stock cars, and now we're going to get to see what happens here when a win is on the line between these two here at an ARCA race at Bristol.
Would you call Brent Cruz a wily veteran?
Not quite.
At 17 years old?
He has certainly proven to have the talent, as has Cruz, and everything he has touched with the steering wheel in hand. He has found success. Who is going to get the edge here at Bristol? Overtime coming up to wrap things up at ARCA at the last great Coliseum. Brent Cruz on the outside, the leader. Tristan McKee on the bottom in the 82. 2 laps to settle it.
Poor restart by Tristan McKee once again. He may hold on to the second spot.
Side by side off turn 2 for second. Brendan Queen to the outside of his teammate McKee. He gets way wide off of turn 4 as Cruz comes to the line with 1 to go.
Remember, they have to get to the checkered flag without the caution coming out to be an official race.
Cruz is a half lap clear to victory through 3 and 4 for the final time. A dominant performance. Brent Cruz is going to get the job done at Bristol. 4th win of 2025, his 3rd with this Joe Gibbs team, the other coming with the Nitro Motorsports organization. Now adding Bristol to the win list. 3rd driver to win multiple wins this season, along with Butterbean and Reeves. He's the 7th driver to win an ARCA race at this venue.
Brent Cruz was so good tonight, he rode 204 laps of a 200-lap race.
Second year in a row we went overtime in this race.
Milestone moment for Joe Gibbs Racing and this ARCA team. 50th win for the ARCA organization, and Cruz is able to take those honors. For Toyota, it's their 5th ARCA win at Bristol, 3rd consecutive, and their 9th win this season, most amongst all manufacturers.
What a talented youngster there, Brent Cruz. Everything he gets in. Youngest TA2 winner in Trans Am, youngest champion in Trans Am.
Now, Brent has a lot of experience in a lot of different types of race cars, and obviously a winner, but a win at Bristol is really cool. You don't have you know, you don't fall into a win at Bristol. It's a cool track and one all the drivers really love to be able to have some success at, and hope another shot at tonight on the trucks.
And the celebration begins for Isaac Kitzmiller by virtue of his 8th place effort. Isaac is the 2025 ARCA Menards East Series champion.
Yeah, let's explain a little bit about what the East Series is. It's 8 races for drivers. You don't have to be 18 like you do in the National Series to run all those races. It's on shorter racetracks like here at Bristol. A lot of those races are combination with the National Series, just like this one. But the list of drivers that have won the East Series championship is kind of a who's who in NASCAR. You've got William Byron and Ben Rhodes that have won championships. Kyle Larson won the East Series championship a number of years ago. William Sawalich in this 18 car won the last 2 East Series championships.
And perhaps the cherry on top, Phil, he bested Dad by 1 spot yet again. Cruz making his way up to the front stretch. We'll have an opportunity to hear from him a short while from now. Cruz the winner, McKee 2nd, Queen 3rd, Honeyman 4th, Thomas Annunziata your top 5 in what was an absolute dominating effort by Brent Cruz and this team. We talked about the diverse nature of this young man and his racing background and career. He started his career in karting, became very successful there on the road courses, then found success on the dirt side. And tonight we'll see if he can go back-to-back and win the truck race as well. Brent Cruz gets the job done at Bristol. We'll hear from him when we come back. Back at Bristol Motor Speedway, wrapping up the Zinser 200 for the ARCA Menards Series. 3rd time this year that a winner has led every lap en route to victory. Trayton Lapsevich did it back at Berlin. Brendan Butterbean Queen did so at Dover. Tonight it's Brent Cruz, his 2nd career win from the pole. And he's climbing from the car to celebrate with his Joe Gibbs Racing team as they notch win number 50 for the ARCA organization. Cruz able to take a moment to come over and congratulate his entire team. He's been having a lot of fun racking up victories with this group. 3rd with the JGR team. The other one coming with the Nitro Motorsports organization. Back on the dirt track, may very well have been on his way to another win at Tacoin before a late crash. And he will have just a short bit to celebrate this one before strapping into his NASCAR Craftsman truck for tonight's race at Bristol. Alex Weaver's in victory lane.
The fireworks are going off here. He's celebrating with his crew because Brent Cruz gets his 4th win this ARCA season. Brent, dominating effort for you tonight. How were you able to do this one?
Yeah, first off, I just want to thank the good Lord above for keeping me safe. There's a lot of terrible things that's going on in the world right now, and I'm just grateful to be here and grateful to have the Lord by my side and this amazing race team. This 18 Mobil 1 Toyota Camry was absolutely amazing since we unloaded off the truck. I've had this race circled for years now, since I was a little kid watching Kyle Busch come smoke everybody with this group, and excited to be able to do it myself. So yeah, I can't thank Matt and everybody enough on this team. They've all done such an amazing job, and I'm just grateful to be here.
Well, you get the win in the first race of the night, but you have a busy night. You'll roll off 15th for the truck race later this evening as you're pulling double duty. Does this add to the confidence of you can get another sword here at Bristol and pull into victory lane 2 times tonight?
Yeah, for sure it does. We have a really good truck. We didn't qualify that good. I like our long run speed, but yeah, the truck's definitely tricky. Had a really, really good car tonight in the ARCA race, so hopefully that can, overlay to the truck race.
Congratulations. Brent Cruz and the number 18 crew gets it done here at Bristol. They're your winner tonight. Quick transition for him to hop in a truck.
Thanks, Alex. 2nd career ARCA short track win for Cruz. The other coming at IRP earlier this season. And a hard-fought effort before, as Alex mentioned, he rolls off 15 tonight. But another Reese's Sweet Move of the Race nominee. Gentlemen, we talked about it, that final restart.
Brent Cruz was killer in the restart zone. I know we were talking about Tristan McKee being able to try and take advantage of those forward restarts, but it just spun his tires a little bit. But I thought, really good effort by both involved. But yeah, Brent Cruz was just killer in the restart zone. No one had anything for him.
Now, in terms of the championship picture, don't forget ARCARacing.com on Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern, to see who is crowned with the Reese's Sweet Move of the Race at Bristol. In terms of the championship picture, glove save and a beauty mid-race for Brendan Butterbean Queen. He's actually going to leave here, extending the championship points advantage by virtue of a 3rd place finish. For more, we'll toss it down to Caitlin.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah, Butterbean placed a big premium on this race and having a clean day. How would you rate this one, your first Bristol race here?
I mean, up to our standards, not really, but just, a solid day. Just try to stay out of trouble. Just got raced a little crazy there in them lap cars, and just some of these guys were making really aggressive moves that about got us in some bad spots. So, you know, probably was a little conservative on my end, but just super proud of Steve-O and everybody at the shop on this 28 car. They worked so hard, and, you know, third's a solid day. Obviously, we want to be over there with the sword, but just wasn't meant to be tonight. We'll, you know, keep fighting, keep clawing. You know, we did what we needed to do, but we don't want a points race. We want to win. So just super happy to have Folsom Fence on the car. I wanted to get them in victory lane, but just thanks to the man above for keeping us safe, and excited to do the Xfinity race tomorrow. And at the same time, just, you know, it's blessed to be here driving a race car, even if it wasn't the night we wanted.
Well done. Brendan leaving Bristol with a top 5 performance. Eric?
Thanks, Caitlin. Big opportunity for Brendan to get another chance to stand where Brent Cruz is right now with that colleague Xfinity debut tomorrow night. And 3 races left to go in the 2025 ARCA Menards Series season. And here's how things stand going into our next race at Salem. Butterbean still on top.
I'm going to put him in pin. I'm going to write him in pin as our champion, because I just think that's over a race. 49 points is the maximum you can get in a race. And when we have smaller fields than this, then you can probably only lose 20-some points in any one race. So I think Butterbean has done the job, and he should be our champion. He's won the most races. He's led the most laps. He should be our champion.
You see there 4th and 5th, Isabella Robusto with that problem, falling back to 5th in the championship points with 3 races left to go. Well, Austin, I know a couple days from now we're going to be watching you whip around here. So what are your thoughts after this race tonight?
Yeah, no, it was a fun race. It was interesting to watch the track evolve as the race goes on. You know, Bristol's an interesting place as a driver in the NASCAR Cup Series, because I feel like I have to watch every race during the race weekend to feel prepared for my job on Saturday night. So if I wasn't sitting here calling the race, I'd be sitting in my couch watching it, and as I'm going to be doing with the truck race. So appreciate you guys having me, and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, this is the one place, and Austin told us before we went on there that he will watch every lap of everything run this weekend prior to his Cup race on Saturday night. And good luck in that Cup race, by the way. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Had a lot of fun with you up here tonight, Austin. Thanks for joining us. Well, as Austin said, we're not done yet. More racing action to come from Bristol tonight. Truck race kicking off 8 p.m. Eastern right here on FS1. Next race for the ARCA Menards Series is going to be at Salem, another high bank short track on September 20th on FS2. On behalf of Caitlin Vinci, Alex Weaver, Phil Parsons, Austin Cindric, and our entire production team, I'm Eric Brennan. So long from Bristol. We'll catch you next time.